Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to Pharma Elite. This is our 13th video from Elite Master Plan series. In case you have missed our previous video, you can watch them on our YouTube channel, Dharmesh Mehta GPAT. Today we are going to study few MCQs and the topic of chromatography from the subject pharmaceutical analysis. So let's begin. The first question, which of the following is used as a spraying reagent in paper chromatography? Let us have a look at the options. Option A, Fuller's earth, B, Kieselguhr, C, ninhydrin solution, D, acetylated paper. Now what we are asked is spraying reagent. ऐसे कौन सा spraying reagent paper chromatography में use होता है? So we need to know basically the examples of different spray reagents, absorbents, coating materials, and the types of papers which are used in chromatography. Fuller's earth is the strongest absorbent in column chromatography. Kieselguhr, which is used as a coating material in TLC. You know the TLC plates which come in different shapes and sizes, and then these plates have to be coated with a coating material. So Kieselguhr is used as one of the coating material. Acetylated paper. This is used in paper chromatography for steroid separations. There are different types of papers, right? Cellulose paper, resin loaded, acetylated paper. Similarly, absorbents could be Kieselguhr, alumina, silica gel. Now, ninhydrin solution. This is used as a spraying reagent in chromatography, that is paper chromatography. Another examples could be vanillin with H2SO4, alpha-naphthalene H2SO4. The spray reagent used will depend upon the types of substances which we need to separate. So here the answer is ninhydrin solution. Next question. In TLC analysis, the analyte spot is not visible in UV light. This indicates dash. मतलब क्वेश्चन ये है कि TLC एनालिसिस में एनालाइट स्पॉट अगर UV लाइट में नहीं दिख रहा है तो इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Options: the analyte solution is too concentrated, the analyte solution is too dilute, the analyte has not resolved, or the analyte does not have a chromophore. Remember, for any substance or a sample that absorbs UV light will be visible on TLC. And for a substance to absorb UV light, there are certain key requirements. What are the requirements in the sample? It should have an aromatic ring. It should be a conjugated system. That is, it should have alternate single bond and double bond. This is a conjugated system. And it should contain a chromophore. Chromophore is the absorbing group in a molecule which is responsible for absorbing the UV light. Therefore, when these requirements are met, then only a substance can absorb UV light. Otherwise, it will not. So the here correct answer is this analyte does not have a chromophore. Therefore, in TLC analysis, it cannot be visible. Before we move to the next question, do follow our subscribe our YouTube channel and remember to press the bell icon so that when we post the next time a video, you will get a reminder. Also, we are having a free WhatsApp group wherein you can get added. Just text on the below WhatsApp number so that you get access to the free group, daily MCQs and other pharma updates. Let us move to the next question. In deionization water plant, the anion exchange column is dash. Exchanges anion, exchanges cations, exchanges non-ionics, exchanges polar organics. Remember, ion exchange chromatography is based upon the electrical mobility of ionic species. Ion exchange means ions should be present. It cannot happen with non-ionic species. Therefore, this option is completely out of picture. Ion exchange chromatography is basically wherein a process wherein a solution of an electrolyte is taken and this is brought in contact with an ion exchange resin, and the active ions on the resins are being replaced with the similar ionic species from the analyte solution. So therefore, exchange takes place between two similar ions, that is anion or cation. Suppose the resin containing diethyl aminoethyl groups, that is DEAE is used. It is having a positive charge group. Therefore, this resin can be exchanged with cations. Affinity for negative molecules having negatively charged surfaces, anions. Therefore, an anion exchanger column will exchange anions and it will not exchange any other thing. In case of like polar organics, your polarity is not considered, only the ionic species are considered. exchanges non-ionics, it will not take place because ions are required. Non-ionics cannot be used. It also cannot exchange cations because they are positively charged. Our column is anion exchange column, so it will exchange anions only which are negatively charged. Next question. In normal phase chromatography, the stationary phase is methanol, the stationary phase is hexane, the stationary phase is petroleum ether, the mobile phase is acetonitride. Now we need to find out which option is correct. तो एक सिंपल टेबल है जो हमें याद रखना है. In normal phase chromatography, the stationary phase is polar, the mobile phase is non-polar. In the reverse phase chromatography, it is exactly the opposite. The stationary phase is non-polar and the mobile phase is polar. You can easily remember this with a mnemonic or a code that you can say MRP. That is, the mobile phase is polar. The mobile phase is polar in reverse phase chromatography. See here. Reverse phase chromatography, the mobile phase is polar. So automatically once the mobile phase is polar, the stationary phase will be non-polar and the opposite will be true for normal phase chromatography. There is increasing order of polarity of solvents which we need to know. Just roughly you can remember the series to solve such an MCQ. Hexane or pentane as the least polar, then petroleum ether, cyclohexane, xylene, toluene, diethyl ether, chloroform, dichloromethane, THF, acetone, dioxane, acetonitride, methanol and water. So as we come to the end of this series, we can remember that dichloromethane, acetone, dioxane, methanol, water, these are most polar, whereas hexane, petroleum ether, these are least polar. Also, there is an order of elution for normal phase chromatography, that is inotropic series, which depends upon a different functional group like alkanes, olefins, aromatics, organic halides. Then it will be ether compounds, nitro compounds, esters, aldehydes, ketones, amines, alcohols, sulfones, sulfoxides, amides, and carboxylic acids. This is the order of elution in case of normal phase chromatography. Just the opposite order will be true in case of reverse phase chromatography. Now let us look at the options. The mobile phase, that is in normal phase chromatography, the mobile phase is acetonitride. As we can see here, acetonitride is polar. And in case of normal phase chromatography, the mobile phase has to be non-polar. Therefore, this option is wrong. The next one, the stationary phase is petroleum ether. In mobile normal phase chromatography, we need a stationary phase which is polar, whereas this petroleum ether is not so polar, that is, it is non-polar. Therefore, this option is wrong. The stationary phase is hexane. Hexane is what? It is least polar, whereas we need a stationary phase which is very much polar. Therefore, this is wrong. The stationary phase is methanol. As we can see here, methanol is a polar substance, and yes, in normal phase chromatography, we need a polar substance which is a stationary phase. Therefore, option A is correct. Next question. In column chromatography, the number of theoretical plates is an indication of column resolution, column efficiency, column capacity factor, or column retention time. Remember, in column chromatography, the stationary phase is held into a narrow tube. A narrow tube is taken and the mobile phase is passed through it under pressure, and the stationary phase is held inside this narrow tube. Column efficiency is again measured in terms of number of theoretical plates. That is, it is an indication of column efficiency. Remember the formula HETP is equals to L by N. What does L means is the length of the column, N is the number of theoretical plates. HETP is height equivalent to theoretical plate. This formula is basically used to find out the column efficiency. Thus, number of theoretical plates will depend upon the length of the column. The more the number of plates, smaller will be the HETP and better will be the column efficiency, or better will be the separations. Therefore, to achieve better separations, we need more number of plates and lesser length, so that HEPT will be smaller and we will get a better separation efficiency. Therefore, column efficiency is indicated by number of theoretical plates. Thank you everyone for watching the video. Stay tuned for more videos coming up soon.